Today, I want to take some time to think about you and your friends. It's the story of an office worker. Friends I met while working. Friends I met through meetings. At first, I thought we'd be friends for life. I gave him a lot of things, but it's no use. I don't think I should forget that life is alone. Anyway, we hurt each other, and we don't call each other anymore. As I get older, I don't think I really need friends. There are so many things to enjoy alone. It's fun. Traveling alone is nice. When I meet people, I feel like I'm exhausted. And when I'm alone, I feel like I'm filled with energy. It's not that I hate people. It's just that I like being alone. Also, some people feel tired when they meet their schoolmates because everyday conversations are nothing more than bragging about their old stories. Some friends, though not all, meet mostly because they have their own interests and needs. Also, there are many people who feel tired because everyday conversations are nothing more than bragging about old stories. Not all, but most of my friends meet because they have their own benefits. And benefits There are people who maintain friendship for congratulatory events, and there are people who make a lot of friends to show off their many friends. But it's all useless, especially when you're having a hard time. It's better not to think that your friend will help you. Regarding this friendship, Oriental philosopher Jeong Yak-yong said, "It's hard to make good friends, but it's also hard to maintain that relationship. Even if they've been friends for a long time, they can be separated from each other." Due to differences in academic understanding and belief, there are cases in which they fight for superiority and inferiority, and then move away. Friends are beings who can share values that they really value together. Friends are about encouraging each other, achieving what you can, and moving forward in the world with someone who recognizes you. It will be more so for your spouse, not your friends, to encourage each other and recognize yourself by doing what is possible. This seems to be in line with the saying that your spouse is your best friend. Friends, in fact, are very important at certain times. When you're in someone's teens, when you're in your 20s. But as you start your social life, your co-worker relationship becomes more important than your friendship. However, regardless of the timing, the only important relationship seems to be yourself and your family. Especially in family relationships, relationships with parents and children are the most important thing in all relationships, and relationships with yourself are the most important. Most of us are afraid of loneliness and even hate it terribly. But you have to face loneliness in order to progress your relationship with yourself. Today, I'm going to talk about 3 behaviors that help me live my own life rather than others as I get older. The first thing is when you're in a tough situation, don't look for friends. When you're in a difficult situation, there's someone who says that his friend didn't help you and that you were betrayed. But this happens because you don't know that people are selfish. No matter how old your friends are, if they contact you to lend them money or ask for some living expenses, even your family is not welcome. Most of them contact their friends for help in difficult situations. And some people say that their friendship is useless because they are rejected. Actually, a friend is just a friend. There is nothing to blame or regret. When I'm stable, I have a lot of good friends. And when I'm in danger, I feel like they all turn away. In the end, my situation determines everything. Most of the time, when you meet your friends, when you are in a difficult situation, you can all feel bad. If you have so many bad feelings about a friend, it's hard to build a friendship with that friend again. Even though it's a long relationship, it ends with a small incident. For this reason, when you find a friend in a difficult situation, it usually ends up in a bad relationship. It's good to be with a friend. And if you don't have a friend, you just have to live comfortably and naturally on the life path you go alone. Of course, you may be sad that you didn't help, but I think it's good to think that life is going alone, and to think it's natural. In fact, friends are meaningful when they are young, but many people feel that their company, organization, and family are the best. Don't you feel like you need a friend when you get older because of occasion? Rather than understanding and caring for each other, didn't you feel the comparison? In fact, if you are not a family member, you often realize later that others are not happy to fully accept your feelings and strengths. Of course, it's the same for you. If your friend did well, you wouldn't have been so happy to be envious. I'm sure there aren't many people who can do this. It would be convenient to live naturally without pretending to be a grown-up man. You have to end it with envy. People who make things up and drag them down and talk behind their backs feel really pathetic. I get hurt when I expect too much from my family. But is there any point in expecting from others nonetheless? If you have a good acquaintance, I think it's a relationship with time. And when the relationship ends, it's good to let them go. If you have a friend, you may not be bored. When you are young, all friends are the same. But close friends can change many times in your life, and friends can become others now. You might have new friends, so it's better not to be obsessed with the current friends. When you get older, it might be a good idea to date only close acquaintances. And when you get older, you just live your own lives. Some relationships are shallow, where when you meet each other, you just think, "Are you doing well?" Of course, not everyone will be like this, but I don't think you have to try to get close to your family as well as your friends. Getting along with yourself can be a way to make others happy. I hope you don't forget that family comes before friends, but I come before family. In summary, finding friends in a difficult situation can lead to a bad ending. It's better to focus on yourself and not expect others when you're in a difficult situation. As you get older, depression can come to anyone. In this regard, Professor Kim Chang-wook said as follows: "Just because you're depressed doesn't mean you're that person. It's just passing by. Since all these difficult situations have passed, it's better to try to lean on others and avoid actions that make me more difficult." The second thing that helps me live my own life as I get older is to recognize that some people need fewer friends and find things to do even if they don't have friends. It can be helpful to reflect on what your current personality is. In fact, everyone is afraid of loneliness. But many people say that even if they lose a lot of friends, it is not that hard, and they become happier. It is much better and more comfortable to not meet friends, watch TV, watch movies, and do things alone. And you will not be lonely at all. Some people say that watching YouTube videos and reading comments is more fun than meeting friends and talking. If you have a lot of friends, you are recognized as having a good personality. And if you don't have friends, you are sometimes looked down on. But now it seems like people don't look at it that way. Having a lot of friends means that you have to keep in touch and meet up often to maintain a relationship. Some people find this to be good, but many people may wonder if it's really necessary. It wasn't like that when I was young, but as I get older, I think more and more people are feeling tired of interpersonal relationships. When I was young, I had a lot of energy and enjoyed hanging out with people. But now, I get tired quickly when I meet people. In interpersonal relationships, a lot of effort is needed to have good relationships, and it costs a lot of energy and money. So just spending time alone may change you into a better person. How about you? When do you feel more energetic and peaceful? When you meet friends or when you spend time alone? Of course, it's good to meet friends sometimes. But there are probably many people who feel happier when they have time alone. Actually, as I got older, I looked back on myself and read books, watched YouTube, made clothes, cooked food, and sometimes just sat there blankly. Some people said that it was Sunday to be alone for daily walking and housework, and that it was so nice to meet my true self. In fact, as you get older and feel lonely, I think it's better to focus on yourself more and study what you've always wanted to learn. If you have at most 1 or 2 truly precious friends and a family, wouldn't your relationships be successful? If you try to make friends, you may end up ruining yourself. That's why it's important to understand your personality. What kind of person are you now, not in the past? If you feel happy only when you have friends, then you should still meet friends. But if that's not the case, and you enjoy doing things alone rather than meeting friends, then you don't need to be dependent on friends anymore. Some people say that they felt unhappy about life without friends and lived a sad and depressed life for a long time. But when they got older and thought about it again, they realized that they could live happily without friends. If you were a child and your friends were important to you and you hated being different from others, now is the time to prepare to live a free life of your own without anyone around you. In fact, 1 or 2 true friends are enough in life. It can be your spouse, parents, children, or yourself. I think that a friend who continues to be with you, even when you don't see them, well during the hard times you go through to grow, is a true friend. Aside from that, they are just obstacles that eat up the most precious time in your life under the guise of a friend. If you don't want to cut ties all at once, it might be good to just keep in touch and ask how they're doing. You don't have to meet them and take care of everything. People who are happy alone tend to say that time flies by so quickly, and they are so busy that they don't have time to meet up with friends and chat. In fact, there is no right answer here. Since each person's life is different, it's okay if you are satisfied and happy. When someone asks you about your friends, and you say you don't have any friends, there are still people who look at you strangely. are elderly people who click their tongues when they see people eating alone or spending time alone. Even their parents look at them with pity, asking if they are not going out to play with their friends. But there is no need to force yourself to meet friends because of these gazes. If you change your behavior because of these gazes, you will only end up living your life through the gazes of others. To sum up, it may be helpful to reconsider your own tendencies here. You may have felt happy meeting people in the past, but not now. If you think about this part again and organize it, you may realize that you are a person who can be happy even if you don't have many friends. If you think like this, you will feel at ease in your relationships. The third thing that helps me live my own life as I get older is to stay away from friends who say things you don't want to hear and who make you uncomfortable when you meet them. Many people become more talkative as they get older. There are times when they talk because they know a lot, and times when they talk because they have their own values. But there are also times when they talk a lot of useless things or repeat things. A person who is busy talking like this may actually be a rude person, regardless of their intention. Do you think of anyone around you? If there is someone like this, you probably will not enjoy meeting them and will feel uncomfortable, so you will distance yourself from the relationship. No matter how good your network is, including not only friends, but also acquaintances of a different age, neighbors who seem to have good personalities, or co-workers, the one thing they all have in common is that no one likes to see others do well. The only people who like to see others do well are my family. Here, the family I'm talking about is my spouse, parents, and children. Therefore, it is best to keep a clear line between my family and all acquaintances, not just my friends, acquaintances, and colleagues, and never cross that line. In fact, true friends are an illusion, like in dramas or movies. It is like an illusion. Is there anyone who truly comforts and helps you when you're having a hard time, truly congratulates you without any jealousy when something good happens, and steps in to help you as if it were their own business? Is there anyone who is just happy to be with you? It's all a fantasy, like a bluebird. If you have a friend like that, and you feel the same way, you are lucky. There are many people who say that life is not always the way they want it to be. No matter how close a friendship is, it can't be maintained if you get married, have children, change your family situation, or have a different income. Don't expect too much from your friends. Don't give too much. Just draw a reasonable line. That way, it'll be less difficult when your situation changes later. There are no eternal friends. They all pass by. It is wise to pass over friends who always say things you don't want to hear and make you uncomfortable when you meet them. On the other hand, it is also good to meet acquaintances who you can meet lightly and without stress. Some elderly people say that they have a few old friends from their hometown. They raise chickens and rabbits together, share crops, and have fun together every weekend. They often go on trips, and I feel envious of them. In fact, having good friends seems to be as difficult and good as having a good family. When I was young in school, the popular friends were the friends that everyone around me wanted to be friends with. And when I became an adult and went out into society, the friends with money were the friends that everyone around me wanted to be friends with. But when you get older and have to take care of yourself and your family more than your friends, you need friends and family who will be with you until the end. To sum it up, let's boldly let go of relationships that make us feel uncomfortable and uncomfortable when we meet. As Jeong Yak-yong said, it's good to naturally accept growing apart from friends and practice being good friends with your family and yourself, even if they are not your friends, who understand and encourage you. Since there is no eternal relationship, I hope you can accept the changes in relationships as they flow a little more peacefully. Today, I will tell you about 3 behaviors that will help me live my own life as I get older. The first is not to seek out friends when things are difficult. The second is to figure out if you need friends and find things to do instead of meeting friends. The third is to stay away from uncomfortable friends and keep friends who understand and encourage you. Does your friend have time to contact you? Or does your friend take the time to contact you? If it's the latter, I think you might be a good friend. I'll say it again. You don't need to have a lot of friends. Even if you don't have friends, if you become your own best friend, that's enough. And please, take care of your health. Many people said that when you are healthy, you miss your friends and feel lonely. But when you are sick, you feel happy if you just take care of your health. I hope that looking back on today's content, it will be an opportunity for me to think about what a happy life is. This concludes today's video. We wish all our subscribers a happy rest of their lives. We will come back with better content next time. Thank you.